Hi, my name is David and welcome to another episode. Today we're gonna talk about trauma healing. And at the end of this video you'll know exactly what a trauma is, you'll know exactly what healing means, and you'll have extremely effective ways of dealing with this and without having to pay any money for it. Because this whole world of healing gets quite complicated once you get into it. I got first interested in it because when I got sober, I always viewed addiction not as a disease, but as a reaction to something else. And I'm always curious about the core of things. Like what's beneath it all? What's the real problem here? And so that is how I got onto this path, but as soon as I got onto this trauma healing path, I instantly got very confused because there's like thousands of different concepts and ideas and methodologies and ways of going about it, and it gets very confusing. So I've spent these last 8 years trying to simplify it down to its core, and today I'm going to present to you that core. So let's set the foundation for trauma healing work. First of all, let's talk about what healing really mean. And for that, I have two catchphrases, if you want to call it. They're a little bit cheesy, but bear with me, I'll get deeper into it. The first one is healing is feeling. We all heard this. Healing is feeling. And the second one is the only way out is true. And I really feel like these two, although cheesy, they encapsulate this work really nice, because these two, I would call them rules, because healing is all about bringing up things that are stored inside of us and feeling them to then let them go. We bring up content, and this bringing up of content, that's usually what all these different methodologies are for, because the issue is not if we can feel the pain. As we'll see later, you're on a good path here. Like you got a great start if you can feel the pain. If you can't feel the pain, now that's where we start needing like different kind of interventions. Like therapy is really good. Different somatic work is really good of bringing out these things. Because saying that, healing is feeling, well, makes it sound pretty easy. But as we all know, it's not that easy. It gets difficult or hard once we really get into it. And so what I'm gonna present to you here is a system, or you could call it a model, that you can apply onto this work to make this work much more comprehensible and understandable. When I first got sober, some years after I got sober, I had a friend who was like a genius. He was like a Elon Musk Jr. and he was a mathematician, and his apartment was just filled with geometrical shapes and numbers and pin needles with threads going between them, and he sleeps 2 hours a night and just, it's just numbers and so on. But I used to go to this person because I respected him a lot, and he was very knowledgeable about things. So I loved to have philosophical discussions with him and just talk about the world and about life. And as I told you in the last video, when I first got sober, I got this book by my friend, and it was about energy work and manifestation and Joe Dispenza and all the buzzwords. And I went to him and I was like, bro, like what do you think about this? Is this real? Does this have any like science behind it? Like what is this all about? What do you think? And he said, well, David, this is a system, it's a model, and the truthfulness of a model comes from its usefulness. And I thought that was very profound. Truthfulness of a system or a model comes from its usefulness. And so that is not so much about what is right, what is wrong, what is scientifically explained. Somebody's agreeing with me. What is scientifically explained, it's more about, is it useful or not? Likewise, when we bring up Google Maps, we take up Google Maps, we're not looking at this, we're looking at a map. And it is a map of the territory, but the map is not the territory. But we can use it and we can say, oh, I want to see it in 3D. I want it to be, like just the bus routes and the train routes, or I just want everything like super simple with just lines, where green is forest and brown is, I don't know, sand maybe. So we use these models, apply them to reality to find usefulness for it, and we can better navigate in this world. It becomes easier to navigate because we had this model that we applied on top of it. Because any kind of word, any kind of conceptualization, any kind of idea, it's just that. It's just a model that's applied on reality. Just using a word is just a model applied onto something. It's not the thing in of itself, it's just a pointer towards it. You know, I'm looking at my cat, I say cat. Well, the word cat is not the cat, it's just explaining it. It's giving me a concept to work with. So now I'm gonna then present to you the model that I've been using. And it's a very simple model. And first of all, we need to realize what we are. Because it's really easy to get lost and think that I'm a person and I'm broken and I need somebody to fix me. And you know, and most of us fall into that trap. You know, I thought I was a person for like 30 years, but once you had that moment of whatever you want to call it, the moment of realization, you know, it's like, whoa, holy shit, like that's what I am? And that is truly what you are. You are awareness. You are the thing that's observing a person having some difficulties. You're not the person, you're the awareness observing the person. And so already there we get some breathing room. Already there we can take a step back, we can relax, and we can say, okay, let me just be what I am and not get lost in the things that I'm observing. Because we know, likewise, when we're watching a movie, it's very easy to get so involved in the movie that we're in the movie, everything that's happening in the movie is happening to us. But that's not the case. Once the movie ends, we're still there. Likewise, you'll always be there. Don't worry, you're not going anywhere. And so your awareness, and we'll get into, in future videos, we'll get more into practices on how to work with this. But just for now, realize what you are, take a step back, and then you look at what you are observing, because what you are observing is a person, is a body. And this body is truly, also scientifically even, an energetic system. There's just energy moving through this system. There's motions, there's energetic motions, there's emotions. It's emotions, and that's what emotions are. It's energy moving through your body, energetic motions moving through your body. And so when I'm observing this body having these energetic emotions, what my role then is just to hold space for these energetic motions. Because as soon as I try to conceptualize things, I get into with my mind and I start saying things like, oh, this is good and this is bad and I don't like this and I don't like that. Then we're creating issues because then we start suppressing it because it's bad. But it's not bad. It has to flow through you to leave you. And as soon as we start pushing it down, that's when we get problems. That's when we get like trauma. And you know, with time it turns into physical ailments. We get eczemas, we get stomach problems and digestion problems and heart, and you know, our blood vessels contract, anything. That we really need to let it flow through us. That is our job. And these things, they come, they move. We don't put any concepts on top of them. And if we just let them move without distracting ourselves, because that's usually what we do. We pull up our phone, we drink a cup of coffee, we call a friend, we go out for a walk, we go to the gym. We're always trying to do something about it, which is to say that I don't want to feel you, so I'm going to put you back down. And if we keep on putting it back down, you know, it stays there. And voila, you have a trauma. Because that is what a trauma is. It is an energetic motion that's gotten stuck because we haven't let it flow through us. We kept on pushing it down, we kept on distracting ourselves. So, you know, now we have a trauma there. And this trauma is really just raw energy that is unprocessed. And what happens is we get into this loop of an energetic motion comes up, an emotion, and we then put words and images to this energetic motion. We say this is because of, you know, I slept bad, or something that happened to me yesterday. This guy told me something, or what my father did when I was a child, or this trauma, or, you know, that thing happened. What we try to conceptualize, we try to rationalize it. And then once we rationalize it, we get a reaction to it. And we say, this is not good. I don't want to feel this, and we get an aversion to it. And what happens then is we distract ourselves. So that is the loop: energetic motion, conceptualization, reaction, and distraction. Now you can also have sometimes we first get the conceptualization, first we get images and words, and that then creates an energetic motion inside of us. But usually it's the other way, but it can go both ways. In either case, we are stuck in a loop that will just go on and on and on until we say, okay, I'm done. I'm ready to embrace life just as it is, and I'm ready to feel the pain of life, because life is painful. And if we're not ready to feel the pain, we're gonna keep on putting things inside of us, and we're gonna get heavy. And you know, it's like we're carrying this backpack on our backs, which is just filled with stuff, just thousands of pounds of stuff that we're carrying along with us, and somebody pokes us and says something to us and we don't like it, and we take it and we put it in the bag, and it gets heavier. We step in some dog shit, and fuck, put it in the bag, and we just keep on putting things in the bag. And every now and then it tries to escape. It tries to escape through an energetic motion. We feel it and we say, no. Just, get back in there. I don't wanna get rid of you yet. And that's the loop. But luckily for you guys and for me, guys, there's a solution. And the solution is very simple. So let me tell it to you. The practice that we want to cultivate is to feel. Very easy. We just want to feel it. And we don't want to distract ourselves from it. And so when an energetic emotions come up, we rejoice, because this is what we need. We need it to come up. If it's not coming up, we need to do something about that, because things should come up. They will come up. They will never stop coming up. And so as something come up, we lay down or we sit down and we stay completely still and we listen. We put our attention on our emotion, on these knots, on these entanglements inside of our body. It's moving through us, and we just feel it. And as soon as we start thinking, conceptualizing, we go back to the emotions. We kind of treat it as a meditation. Otherwise you would meditate on your breath or however you do it, but here you meditate on your emotion, because that is what meditation is. Meditating means become familiar with something. We want to become familiar with this energetic system so these things can flow through us. And we do this in a non-judgmental way. And that's how you start unloading your baggage. You feel it and you let it move through you, and you don't judge it in any way. And so really, in a nutshell, that is what trauma healing is all about. Healing is feeling. Unfortunately, only way out is true. But once you start this work, remember, this is not a fix. There's nothing to fix. You're not broken. You're not traumatized in the sense of like something's broken and needs to be repaired. You just got a lot of stuff that you're holding on to, and you just gotta let it go. And this is how you let it go. And once you let it go, you become lighter, you become a little bit happier. And since it is not a fix, what it is it's a way of life. Because this life, it ends when it ends, but until then, you gotta deal with energetic motions going through your body. So really, the work should not be to try to fix things and get away from things and resolve them somehow. The work should really be about becoming okay with energy moving through you and not judging it, just letting it be whatever it is. Because really it's the judgments that we're suffering from the most. And so, that's trauma healing. You know now what it means what healing means, what trauma means. You have an awesome system, a model to apply on this, to make this work really easy, and you know the practice of what it is to do. So just remember your awareness. Your job is to just hold space for things to appear and then disappear. And you just do that and you'll be fine. With that, I thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.